someone was asking me about the podcast that I work with that doesn't really know pinball, and they said, what could you possibly talk about all the time on a podcast all about pinball? There can't be that much going on. And I just looked at him and thought, if you only knew. If you only knew. It's Coast to Coast Pinball. It's episode 63. Let's go. Welcome to Coast to Coast Pinball. My name is Nate Shivers. This is a podcast. It is a commentary, my commentary, and I'm a man out of quarters. So, is there a lot going on in pinball? I mean, it's just pinball. It's only pinball, right? As they say. Yeah, I think there's as much going on as you want there to be. If you want to just buy a game and have a game in your house and play it occasionally when you get home from work, that's all you need. That's all you need going on in pinball. If you want to go out and join the league and play competitively on whatever level you might want to play, then there's quite a bit going on. If you want to collect games and sell and buy and actively trade and peruse eBay and Craigslist and the markets, there's even more going on. If you want to follow the new releases, the upcoming rumors and epic announcements, even more going on. This hobby is incredibly user-friendly in that you can make it what you want it to be. It can be a very passive hobby. It could be something as simple as once a month you stop by the local bowling alley and play a couple pinball machines, and maybe they'll be different than they were last time you were there, and maybe they're not. Or you can start a podcast and, over the course of 8, 9, 10 months record 62 episodes and look back sometimes and go, what on earth did I talk about for all those hours and hours of talking? So, enjoy it, Just enjoy it. Something hit me today. I was reading the Pinside forums, as I tend to do. So, we're going to go ahead and call this Forum Static.
Forum Static.
I was reading a thread that goes really deep into the Stern X-Men game and the new code that has recently been released, version 1.5, and now today, a week after 1.5, they released a small update, 1.51. And I want to give a shout out to Pinsider, who goes by the name of Arcade. He is sort of leading the charge on keeping everyone updated as to what is in this long-awaited, much-anticipated, and greatly needed X-Men code update. And it hit me as I was reading through this update thread. It's amazing how much one game can mean to somebody, how much one game can sort of take over what your life is and what you do. I mean, I have that with some of the games I own. Twilight Zone. I know Twilight Zone inside out, left and right, and I still, if I'm away from it for a few days, I think about it. I can't wait to flip that switch and see it come on and hear that clock motor go and get it going. It only takes one game. So if you own an X-Men and you've been playing that X-Men and getting a lot of enjoyment out of it. I've played X-Men. It's not a game that I would say that I love, but it's a game that I sort of liked and thought was close. And the layout has its, it has its quirks. I think a lot has been spoken and talked about the layout of X-Men, especially with the giant Wolverine toy. But at the end of the day, it's still really, to me, an interesting game in that it's a fan layout with, a close scoop and a toy up close. I like it. It's a John Borg machine. And it's only, X-Men has only been out a year and a half. Is that all? I think summer of 2012, X-Men. But people were really into it. It looked great. It kind of had nice artwork. The translights looked really good, and people were excited. But boy, it felt incomplete for those who chose to go deep and buy the game and really get into the game. And we've seen X-Men prices sort of crash. You could buy an LE for a lot less than I would have thought when that game was released in recent months. And you could buy a Pro for very, very fair prices, cheap prices even. I think part of that was that there was just too many little quirks and too many things just left incomplete. You had entire characters mentioned on the game that just didn't exist in the code and in the game. Obviously, the big one being Deadpool. And I'm not even a huge comic book or X-Men fan, but I do like the recent X-Men movies, and I do like the artwork a lot that they used on this game. And I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. Here we are on February 18th, I believe. Today's the 18th, Tuesday the 18th. The code update, and this is from someone who has not played version 1.5 or 1.51, but has just read a lot about it. I think they've taken X-Men from being this game that there was a lot of hope for to a game that's going to shoot up in value. I think that people are going to start seeking out X-Men. I think they have added enough to this game to sort of satisfy the longing and the waiting and the people that were... the people that could see it. I think there was... If you read reviews of X-Men, go back, go into Pinside and read the reviews. There's a lot of love for this game, for people who played a lot of this game. And there was sort of almost like a broken heartedness about some of the reviews. Like, yeah, it was so close. And when Steve Ritchie got on stage down in Texas a few months back and said that he didn't think an X-Men code update was coming, people were really upset. And it bummed them out because it just seemed like, why would you not finish this game off? It's so close. Well, I think they did. And I think they're going to keep tweaking it a little bit. I think Stern is getting the message here. I think a bunch of users on Pinside saying there's an embargo and we're not buying Stern games until they start finishing codes, and podcast hosts getting on and saying, you know, it's an absolute shame that some of these codes aren't. I know it's had an effect because I've had emails from people that told me it had an effect. It's having an effect, and that's a good thing. Stern's reacting, and Stern's getting there. I think that we sometimes, as consumers and players and hobbyists and fans, forget that, especially in our hobby, in pinball, we're not dealing with, you know, they, or the big hidden shadow government, or the giant dark corporation that sits on a hill with lightning striking behind it and clouds surrounding it. We're dealing with a company, Stern Pinball, who has actually had incredible growth over the past 3-4 years, and maybe wasn't ready for that. And they needed it, though. We're desperate to have it and to get it. But they weren't really equipped for it because they couldn't be equipped for it, because they couldn't afford to be equipped for it. They were running lean and mean and getting stuff as best as they could, and then all of a sudden, this thing kind of took off a little bit. And I'm not saying we're booming. This is not the boom period, but it's something. It's something. And I think they got just a little caught here. I think they brought in great game designers who designed some amazing games with high hopes. I think sometimes the designers have an incredible vision for what could be, and maybe the programmers haven't had a chance to catch up. And we saw at Expo when Stern Pinball introduced you to one of their new hires, the young guy with the great story about meeting George Gomez and being like, hey, Johnny Mnemonic's one of my favorite games. And George Gomez is like, yeah, I designed that. It was like, what? And they hired the guy. I think we're getting there. They're going to catch up, and I think we're in for some really great times as far as satisfying rule sets and deep code and the ability to listen to the feedback of the community and the players who are buying these games and take a game like X-Men that showed so much promise but just sort of fell a little short, and then push that rock up the hill and get it to the top. And I think I'm excited. I think X-Men's going to be long-term thought of as really the turning point game on some levels for Stern Pinball, because, you know, the artwork was amazing. I think they've got the rule set now there. The play is fun. I mean, the play is fun. It's awkward, but I don't think awkward's always bad. I think Twilight Zone and Addams Family were probably awfully awkward to people when they first got on those games. And look how that's come out. I'm excited. I guess I won't get too deep into the rule changes. I'll let you sort of go into that, but and let me say one thing as it's ringing in my head, as I kind of said that X-Men would be the start. We really got to say Tron was the start. So this is me correcting myself. I think Tron was really the start. And good on John Borg. Honestly, good on John Borg. But real briefly, with the X-Men update, like I said, they added in Deadpool. And what Deadpool basically does is it sort of gives the player a reason to shoot for combos. Don't forget, I'm a big fan of making the shots mean something and not having wasted frivolous shots. So by adding a reason to go for combos, because the way you acquire this Deadpool character in X-Men is by getting 10 combos. And what Deadpool will do is he will add more scoring and increase the damage towards the villains that you're fighting. So when you activate a villain to fight, if you have Deadpool, activated, he's going to help you beat that villain easier. So therefore, you now have a reason to shoot for combo shots, which can transform a game. Can absolutely think about Twilight Zone. What if Twilight Zone had some special thing where when you shot loops and hit the camera shot and hit combos and hit loops to the piano, that some other feature was activated? I mean, that's really like heavy, higher level rule set stuff that we have now in modern pinball, that we didn't have in the golden era, so to speak. So I think that's great. The Deadpool character is a game changer for this game. So it's literally a game changer. If you see what I'm doing there. I like it. And they use the lighting effect to tell you that he's active. The playfield flashers like pulse. I think that's awesome. A lot of this update 1.5 and 5.1 is sort of fixing little things, balancing the scoring out. I think they looked at the difficulty of this game, and I'll confess, I had a tough time getting very far in X-Men on location, especially. I don't own the game. I've not owned the game. I've not spent much time with an X-Men on free play, if at all. So I haven't gotten to just, kind of camp on an X-Men machine. But I'll say this, it's a pretty tough game. There's some tough shots. And I think they went back and they dialed down some of the shots needed to defeat some of the villains. And they've added this Dark Phoenix mode. And I don't know all the details behind Dark Phoenix, but basically it's sort of a timed mode that's long. It has this 10-minute time length, which is really, really long. So that'd be like the longest mode in pinball. And Dark Phoenix, it's like a 3-ball mode where you're trying to keep it alive or score points for these 3 sections. And when you lose a ball, that section gets destroyed. Read more about it. But everything I'm reading and the vibe I'm getting is that X-Men just went from a Stern game that I think if for me as a consumer, if I found an X-Men locally that was a really good deal, or if the right trade came up, I'd have thought to myself, yeah, I might take an X-Men, with the thought, because I can play it for a couple months and then sell it. So this is going to be some people's favorite game. And that's pretty exciting, because you have people who already think Tron's their favorite game. I think absolutely you have people who think, or I believe X-Men could be their favorite game. I think you have people who already would say AC/DC's their favorite game. And that sort of brings us to, Metallica. I don't know that we can save the Avengers. I'm sorry, Mr. Gomez. I'm afraid about that. But Metallica. Code's coming. That's happening. I've been assured that the next Code release for Metallica is going to be great. So, and that could be really soon. So Metallica's coming. And that's going to be some people's favorite game. And then if you look at Star Trek, So I go on record last episode 62, and I basically say, in my opinion, the limited edition and premium versions are not worth the increased price over the Pro versions. Let me tell you, I'm going to give you a little advice, everyone out there listening. If you have a podcast and you want to get some long emails, here's what you do. You choose the latest, greatest game, and you talk about the expensive version of the latest, greatest game, and you basically, on your podcast, take the opinion that this expensive version of the latest, greatest game, which is pretty much universally loved, tell people that it's not worth it and they should have bought the Pro, in not so many words. You will get some long emails. There is something that... Okay, so when I talked about Star Trek Limited Edition that I played, it was brand new, and I chalked up a lot of the feel of that game to it being brand new. The overwhelming response that I got in some emails, and we'll read emails a little bit later, is that maybe that game just feels better than the Pro. And I can't confirm or deny that, because I haven't played two both out of the box right next to each other. But maybe they just got it a little bit, more dialed in with these limited editions of premium, because I didn't get that email from one or two people. I got that email from like 7 people who've played both and spent time on both and ended up going with the premium or the limited edition and said it was absolutely worth it to them because either they wanted the special one. I did get some people said they just wanted the one with all the bells and whistles, or it just felt better to them than the Pro. And I will say this, going from an Avengers Pro to an Avengers Limited Edition, which I have done within the same 48-hour period, there is a big difference in the feel of the game. So if they've done the same with Star Trek, then maybe I'm wrong. Possible. But I will tell you, I got some very excited emails about people in their Star Trek Limited Editions, and that's great because it's somebody's favorite game. And the fact that Stern is churning out people's favorite games right now is pretty great. So I think it's exciting. I think that the fact that we have an X-Men code finally rolled out is good. I think prices on X-Men are going to already start bumping. I'm already seeing threads on Pinside saying, hey, so now that the code's out, is it better? What's one going for? I saw one pop up for sale here in San Diego for more money than it was popping up for a couple months ago. That's a good sign. The game's only a year and a half old. So I'm excited about that.
Forum static.
Hey, look, more forum static. So there was a post on the forums today I was reading at work. Of course on my lunch break, not while I was working. I would never read a forum about pinball while I was working. And it was about the Pin Game Journal, Jim Shelberg's longtime pin game publication, which absolutely fabulous. If you haven't ever subscribed or read to the Pin Game Journal, you should. This post actually was old. It was from 5 months ago, and it was started by a poster who was like, hey man, my wife got me the Pin Game Journal magazine subscription for my birthday. Where is my magazine? If you know anything about Jim Shelburne and the Pin Game Journal, he sells subscriptions, 8 issues per subscription. I think $35 for 8 issues, but that's not like a year or some exact time frame. It's sort of, when I ship you 8, you have then got your subscription filled. It's on his time frame, and I don't know the details, and I do apologize to anybody close to Jim. I believe Jim is going through some really, really serious health issues right now, and possibly cancer, which I saw mentioned in the thread, but I have not personally confirmed that. So we here at Coast to Coast Pinball wish Jim the best, and it's an interesting thread because it was revived as somebody got their February issue, which is the 2014 Pin Game Journal Pinball Calendar, which Jim puts out yearly. And I got home today, and in my mailbox waiting for me was my copy of the 2014 Pin Game Journal catalog, and there is a tight fitting, wearing outfitted lady on the cover, sitting on a flipper holding a pinball. And as I opened it up, I was reading a little bit about the cover, and that's one of the characters from Big Bang Bar, obviously. And I thought it was pretty cool looking at the month by month. Each month is sort of like a back glass artwork in the calendar. Starting out in February, you have the Full Throttle, the Highway Pinball, much awaited debut from Highway Pinball. And then it goes through a lot of sort of boutique or small build or rethemed or independent pinball machine artwork and back glasses. You have all sorts of stuff like the Matrix, which is obviously, a retheme. The two spooky pinball releases, Pinball Zombies from Beyond the Grave and America's Most Haunted back glasses are there. You have Whoa Nelly is there. Even Wrath of Olympus is there. From Scott Gullick, who appeared on this show way back. So, very cool. Excited to get this. Anytime there's something pinball related in the mail for me, I think that's awesome. And that got me thinking as I was sort of flipping through this. It's a great calendar because Jim lists all the happenings and the events going on. And this weekend, the 20th through the 23rd, I guess it's actually the 21st through the 23rd, out in Virginia, there's a Papa Circa event at the Fairfax Pinball Open. So that is a cool tournament in that they try and get everybody into the playoffs. It's sort of a neat way to do it, and I'd encourage you to go to vapinball.org and look up that for this weekend. Also, they'll be running a Classics tournament, and they're also now running the Orsler Fundraiser Tournament, which will be a separate fundraiser tournament to help out Barry and Donna Orsler, who we've talked about before on Coast Pinball, are going through some really rough times with health issues and needing some extra funds to kind of pay those bills. So there's going to be an extra tournament for that on Friday and through Saturday. So it's an open tournament, anybody can play. So if you're in the DC, greater Northern Virginia, Southern Maryland, that whole area, if you're in that area and you don't have anything going on this weekend, February 21st, 22nd, 23rd, at the Best Western in Fairfax, Virginia, is the Fairfax Pinball Open. Following not too far behind that, the Ohio Pinball Show is the end of the month, 27th, 28th, and the first of next month, which is March. Then the Louisville Arcade Expo is March 7th, 8th, and 9th in Louisville, Kentucky. And that's a show that I've had a few emails on and some reviews over the course of me doing Coast2Coast Pinball, and some people say it's their absolute favorite show, that it has a really great family atmosphere. It's a lot of fun. They put on both arcade and pinball tournaments. I think $45 for the whole weekend. If you do it ahead of time, it's $35. It's at the Ramada Plaza in Louisville, Kentucky. So if you're in that neck of the woods, head out and check that one out. Also, I believe they run a Papa event there as well. In fact, I'm fairly certain Papa TV will be covering the event on the website, which I can confirm, as I know how to Google very fast. So, definitely some fun stuff coming up in the world of competitive pinball. Yes, checking the email. I can tell you this for sure. If you send me a photo of yourself in a Coast2Coast Pinball t-shirt, not only will I post it on the Facebook page, I will absolutely read your email, as long as it's nice and not saying mean things about the show. Even then, I might read it. Okay, so this email is from friend of the show, Martin, from Melbourne, Australia. See, I didn't say it Melbourne. Melbourne, Australia. All right, here we go. Hey, Nate. As an owner of a Star Trek LE, see, I told you this was coming, I wanted to give you feedback regarding the different models as you discussed in your last episode. Having now had significant game time on all three models, I'd like to offer the following opinion. Okay, so when I played Star Trek, it was a Pro. After 2 games, I said I was going to buy one, and I did. For me, there was only one choice, as I like to have the top of the range of anything I buy. This is a fancy gentleman down in Australia, Martin, clearly. Mainly because I don't like to think there's something I'm missing out on, but that's just me. I also like to feel a bit special when I buy things, and for the money you pay with pinball, $9,500 US for my LE, feeling special is pretty important. So far, I'm very happy with the purchase. What surprised me when I first got it was how it felt much better quality, as a much better quality build than the Pro, is what he's saying. The ramps, the rubbers, the flippers, everything just felt better made than the Pro. Now, having played a brand new Pro today, I can confirm that it just feels different. Not terrible, just not as good. The LEDs are nowhere near as bright, the ramps look a bit too plasticky, and the game doesn't seem to flow as well. I guess as the Pro is meant for location play and to take a beating, it feels very sturdy, but just a little less fun. You know, the brightness of the LEDs was one of the most common things people brought up to me. The lighting does make a big difference in presentation. But to the more tangible, which I think makes a big difference, Martin continues, the kickback. Having lost the ball too many times today to the left out lane, it is sorely missed and just feels right for this machine. So Martin here is playing a Pro after now owning the limited edition. The tricolor LEDs make a big difference to look at the playfield to me and give it a real premium feel. The left return ramp vertical up kicker. You set it yourself and it feels better when it resets the ball. Playing today with it ejecting straight back just felt cheap. Once you eject up, you can't go back. The laser starfield projector. Yeah, I know, he says. So I love it. Love it. And I like that it doesn't happen all the time, as it makes it more rewarding when it goes off. I play my machine pretty much in the dark. Picture with Coast2Coast Pinball t-shirt being model attached, which it is. So it really stands out. Also, it's such a fast machine, I can lose track of how many balls I've already locked, so it often happens as a surprise, the Starfield projector, that is, which is kind of cool. Bottom line is I think the hype let it down. When I heard about laser projector, I thought it was going to project shapes or patterns on the playfield from above. But the Crappy Doodle All Day Teresa 2013 video of Steve Ritchie reset my expectations, and now I reckon it's great. Yeah, Teresa did call it Crappity Doodle. That was a direct quote from the lovely Teresa. Everything else I'm not bothered about. Enterprise toy, foil-covered baked potatoes, the asteroids, and to an extent, the improved Vengeance ship. Nice to have, but really not anything I get excited about. So you really want my opinion? Yes, Martin, I really want your opinion. The improvements from the Pro to the Premium are enough to warrant the Premium. It's just a much better experience. Just not sure how much more the LE has over the Premium, except for the shaker motor, to warrant a further $1,000. Steve Ritchie's signature on the playfield might be tempting for you, though. Hi to Teresa, my current favorite quote of hers. That's not where he pointed, ladies and gentlemen, from episode 54. Oh, yes. Thanks for the dedication to the podcast. Looking forward to the next one. Martin in Melbourne, Australia. Martin, thank you for the well-thought-out, well-organized email. I do appreciate it. I read that email especially, A, because he sent me a picture of himself in a shirt, but B, he kind of hit all the points that most of the other emails pointed out. The brightness of the playfield LEDs was huge. There seems to be a build quality feel to it. I don't know, are the ramps molded out of different materials, different amounts of plastic? I'm not sure. I don't know the answer to that. And there's definitely that overriding theme from, obviously, players who can afford it, collectors who can afford it, that if there's a version of this that has something extra, I want the something extra. And I can respect that. I totally understand that. I guess I'm a little more of I'm the value-minded guy. If I buy a Metallica Premium and I'm spending like $7,000, to me I'm thinking in my head, I could have bought a Metallica Pro and that used Ripley's Believe It or Not that's on Craigslist right now and had them both. Not that I have room for that, but that's always what I'm kind of thinking. That's sort of thought process. So I'll post this photo, great photo here of Martin in a very, very dark room, playing his very beautiful Star Trek Enterprise Edition. Very cool. Just pops out lit so brightly. I'm trying to see what's right next to him. Can't tell what game that is that's right next to him. It might be... I can't tell. Martin, you'll have to let me know what that game is to the right of your Star Trek game there. I can't tell just by the word. It has a start button showing. That's about all I can see. Speaking of Australia, just to jump off topic a little bit, I can do that here because it's my freaking podcast. I have been listening to, over the past couple weeks, the Pinheads Pinball Podcast. And the Pinheads, and that's with a Z, Pinheads Pinball Podcast. I'm trying to pull up their Facebook page as I do this so I can actually get this right here. Their catchphrase is Americana from Down Under. And this is, I mentioned this on an episode, I'm pretty sure. This is a new podcast. They have 3 episodes currently out, based out of Australia. And there's 3 people running the show. I'm sorry I don't have everybody's name straight, but I know Rod, I believe, is the main guy. Sorry if I got that wrong. And it's a really, really great podcast as far as production quality, content. I love the format because it's sort of 3 hobbyists. One, I believe, is a tech. And they kind of go really deep into conversational talk about all things pinball. And I actually don't think I heard all of the first episode. I realized that as I was listening to the second and third episodes, that I don't think I ever listened. Maybe I never heard the first one. So I don't know all of their background, which I guess I need to go back and do because I really do enjoy their show. But it's good, and I believe one of the guys works in radio. The current episode that they have out now, episode 3, they go through a container load that they bring in from Italy with a bunch of different games, and then they have a interview with the head guy Kevin from Skit B about Predator. I won't tell you everything they do, but it's really good. Longer form, kind of monthly type podcast that I enjoy a lot because I have long drives and lots of long flights. So definitely go check that out. Stevie, Gaz, and I believe Rod, as I said. If I had those names wrong, I do apologize. But anyway, keep up the fantastic work, you guys. I appreciate it. As a fan of pinball, I'm always looking for more things to listen to because I listen to things right when they release, and then I'm out of stuff to hear. So that's really quality stuff from them. So we have some more email to go through. All right. Tim asks, so I bought the original green limited edition shirt. It was limited because I'll never make it again. It's sort of turning out that most of them are going to end up being limited. What else do you have available? That's a great question, Tim. He'd like some stickers, too. I have stickers. He also says Star Trek Premium. He was very tempted at a Pro, but when the picture was released with the Premium and the ruby red trim package, he was sold. It's funny. The ruby red trim on those Star Trek Premiums, at first, the first photos I saw, I thought it was horrible looking. And then that photo from the Stern factory rolled out, and the color of red was sort of much deeper and richer looking, and I got it. It fit. It really kind of complemented the blue of the cabinet nicely. So Tim, well, it's funny you should ask. I just got done mailing out a bunch of shirts last week, and then some more today. The Canadian ones always take me an extra day or two because I got to fill out those little customs forms, and I'm lazy. So I got a bunch of shirts out. So I still have some midnight shirts left. I have some larges, some mediums, I believe 1 extra large left. I have some brand new dark gray shirts with black logos coming. And these are going to be sort of for the guy who is like, hey, Nate, yeah, I like your shirt. I'd buy a shirt, but I don't really want to advertise you quite so heavily. These are going to be a more subtle Coast2Coast Pinball t-shirt. So picture a dark gray shirt with black, logo. Same logo, same design. We've not changed the design yet. Someday we'll have a new t-shirt. But right now we're sticking with this. It's working. People are buying it. I like it. I appreciate it. So that'll be coming out, and I'll have that in, typical medium, large, extra large, double XL. I believe a triple XL possibly too. But I have some triple XLs, triple XL and I think 1 left in midnight, and got some big listeners to this show. Big listeners. I like it. So I've got shirts. Email me if you're looking for something. I've got some stickers and maybe some surprises coming down the road. So thank you for that, Tim. I'll reply to him directly on that too. This email is from Mark. Mark is spelled M-A-R capital C. I don't know if that's a typo or if that's just sort of like your DJ name. Is it Marcy? Mark Duluth in Richmond? That's confusing because Duluth's also the name of a town. Well, anyway, Mark with a C in Richmond wrote and said, with the return of Pat Lawler to pinball design, you should think of doing an episode of the best of Pat Lawler, or maybe your top 5 Pat Lawler pins. What do you think? Well, I think the best of Pat Lawler would be episode number 50, where I talk extensively about Twilight Zone. That is the best of Pat Lawler. As far as my top 5 Pat Lawler pins, I leave the top 5s to Don and Jeff at the Pinball Podcast. They sort of have a corner on, top 5 lists. That's sort of their thing. However, I do like what you're thinking here. So I'm going to actually run down using IPDB.org, the Internet Pinball Database, all of Pat Lawler's pinball machines very quickly with just one little comment here or there about these games. And we'll see how that works out. Starting in 1988, Bonsai Run. Just played Bonsai Run in New York City. Amazing. Kind of surprised we've not seen any other vertical pinballs like this before. Much better game than I would have ever thought before I had played it. I think it was very much ahead of its time. Awesome. Earthshaker. Earthshaker's great. Earthshaker's fun. I like Earthshaker a lot. It would be a favorite of mine of that era if it weren't for Whirlwind, which came next. I actually like Whirlwind better. Some people like Earthshaker better. I like Whirlwind better. I like the layout better. I like the scoring better. It's a fun game, although it destroyed me at It Never Drains in Southern California, because all it did was drain and drain and drain. 1990, Funhouse. Funhouse is an amazing game. This is the first game of Pat Lawler's that sold over 10,000 units. He has 3 of them. Funhouse, all-time great. To me, it's a top 10 game, just if for nothing else, the innovation, the talking head, the classic call-outs. It transcends pinball. Absolutely amazing. Funhouse. The Addams Family. I mean, what can I say about a game that they sold 20,000 copies of? The Addams Family, in a lot of ways, took the pinball boom that was happening based on DMD displays and just launched it to the moon. One of the all-time greats, a game that I've never really connected well with. So I don't know what that says about me. Addams Family gave Mr. Lawler carte blanche to go and do Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone to me is the greatest. I am in love with this machine. I turned and looked at it as I started talking about it. I don't think I need to say much else other than I would trade a lot of other games before I just would never let go of this game. I love it. It makes me happy. I feel like I'm in that game when I play it. It's dark and fun and lighthearted all at once. It is so perfect. It has speed if you want it to have speed. It's hectic. It's also very strategic. Red and Ted's Roadshow. Red and Ted's Roadshow is an interesting one because to me it's sort of like if you love Addams Family and you love Twilight Zone, but you can't afford them, but you like that sort of feel and that sort of thinking, and maybe you also like something like Attack from Mars where there's rules-wise, not play-wise at all, but rules-wise, where there's a progression and a story. Roadshow is really, I think, disserved by its theme a little bit. I think if Roadshow was, Cannonball Run or some other sort of cross-country type thing, and it wasn't kind of hick construction workers with country music playing, this would be a top 10 game, I think. It's deep, it has great shots, it's interesting, it has a fantastically unique layout. It started to creep up in price a little bit. If you look at its rating on websites, it's actually really, really high. People that know and don't mind the music and sort of some of the more, I hate to use this term, and I apologize to anybody this might offend, but I say this with all love of the 2 talking heads with construction hats on, the rednecky part of it, I think that holds it back a little bit. Safecracker. This is where you see that Pat Lawler's clearly thinking on a different level than most. Safecracker, I've only played real briefly, Pinball Hall of Fame. Not really my thing. It was a payout machine, redemption type thing. Not for me. Awesome what he did. Collectible. I think it's great that he has it in his portfolio. No Good Gophers in 1997. I think this is one of the most underrated pinball machines of all time. And it's rated pretty highly, but it's fantastic. It has innovation. It has comedy. It's fun. It's difficult. I think it's not incredibly deep per se, but there's a lot to No Good Gophers. I really like it. I can't talk about Wizard Blocks because it never was built. It's too bad. It's a real shame. Monopoly. Monopoly is an interesting one because this is Pat Lawler sort of off on his own, I think, and then bringing something to Stern. I think the build quality of Monopoly is not that great. I think there's some ideas there that maybe needed a little bit more money or time. With the ever-moving flipper, this game needed to be a wide body. I'll say that about Monopoly. If Monopoly had been a wide body, I think it would have been a better game. The game doesn't play well for me. It's cramped and hard to see the shots. Horrible game for flow. It's like, I know Pat Lawler's not a flow guy per se. The game just doesn't really do it for me. Never has. Roller Coaster Tycoon. This is the game I am probably the least familiar with in all of Pat Lawler's kind of quote portfolio. I just don't know a lot about it. Other than I've played it a couple times. It's based on a video game. It's colorful. It's got lots of stuff crisscrossing the playfield. I need to spend more time on it. There's one available for me to play on my next trip to New York, so I'm going to do that and try and familiarize myself more with it. Not a highly reviewed game. People don't really fall in love with Roller Coaster Tycoon. Ripley's Believe It or Not. I mean, this is clearly, only a fool would not see that this is Pat trying to have a Twilight Zone for Stern. And I like the game. I like Ripley's Believe It or Not quite a bit. A, I love the theme. B, I love some of the ideas for progression through the shots and the modes. I think it's really cool. I would own this game. It's Ripley's Believe It or Not's in my top 10 of wanted game list. Grand Prix. I spoke too soon when I said Roller Coaster Tycoon was the game I know the least about it. I don't know anything about Grand Prix other than I guess it's a modded NASCAR, which was his next actual release, which is NASCAR. So I guess Grand Prix is a modified version of NASCAR. NASCAR is a game I don't really care for. I talked about it recently. I'm not a car guy, really. NASCAR doesn't get rated very well. The game has crashed in price. You can go out there and find a deal on it. Family Guy and Shrek. Same game, different themes. This is so telling of the time period, that mid to late 2000s, 2007, 2008. Stern was not selling a ton of units. They were looking, you can clearly see with the themes, Family Guy and Shrek, sort of trying to appeal to younger audiences. Family Guy was trying to appeal to that like 20s kind of slacker. I love, animated, vulgar cartoons, which is me. That's me in 2007 for sure. Shrek is even aiming at even a younger crowd, trying to get the kids in. Classic Pat Lawler layouts. I mean, I don't really fault these layouts at all. I just don't love the themes. I think the mini pinball idea is very cool. If not, maybe, again, it's almost a shame these games weren't wide body, because they kind of feel like they could have been wide body and had a little more going on. And then CSI. CSI I played a little bit recently. I think CSI is one of those games, really low production, where not a lot of these made, and the people that have them really like them, really like the game. I would love to really spend, like a good hour on CSI, because, the team was certainly there, Keith Johnson, Lyman Sheets, Lonnie Ropp. I mean, there are a lot of people on this game. So I don't know. Spinning disc captures the ball, spins it around to count down for multi-ball. I mean, what else do you need to know about CSI? I don't know a ton about it. I'd like to play it some more. That's kind of my little rundown on the Pat Lawler world. I think that if Steve Ritchie's the king of flow, Pat Lawler's the king of stop and go. He's the king of a scoop shot right in your face, right? So anyway, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what Pat Lawler's going to do at Jersey Jack Pinball. I think it's going to be exciting. I have high hopes, and I think he has plenty of time. I don't think he's under a super time crunch. Pat Pat Lawler strikes me, from what I know of him, and I don't know him personally or anything, but from interviews I've both listened to and read with Pat Lawler, he strikes me as the type that probably has stuff already, worked up and ready. I would love to see Pat Lawler be the focus of the Pinball Magazine, a future issue of that. I think that would be great to happen. So it'll be interesting to see if that ever comes to fruition. I would love to talk to Pat Lawler. I've gotten a few emails asking me, why don't you interview this guy? Why don't you interview this guy? And I generally always kind of reply, well, they've been interviewed, and they've talked about the games they've built, and they've talked about the day that the Williams factory shut down, and we've heard the story. I would like to talk to Pat Lawler, because I think Pat Lawler probably has some interesting takes. I think he's a really smart guy, deep thinker, whose view post kind of resurgence in pinball, he left Stern before it started kind of getting good. So I'd be very interested to speak with Pat Lawler, and maybe I'll run into him out there at one of these shows and see if I can't get his take on a few things. Anyway, that's episode 63. It's a Tuesday night. We're all done. I want to thank you guys for listening. The downloads for the shows have been through the roof. Basically, since the Zach Sharp interview, everything's been, higher than it had been before. And then even some of the select older episodes have shot up after that. I think people are going back and finding the show. So I've been asking people to, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, all that stuff. I will also say this. If you know somebody in pinball, or who sort of likes pinball, or who might enjoy hearing about pinball, that you're trying to get into pinball, point them towards the show. If there's somebody who listens to podcasts, let them know about the show. See if they'd be interested in listening to me run my mouth about this great hobby. That would probably be the best thing you could do to help out Coast to Coast Pinball. Is just get more people listening and into it. Because that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to keep people engaged, excited about what's happening next, and excited about the history that was and the games that are out there already to go play. So you can email me directly, coast2coastpinball@gmail.com. Check out our Facebook page, our website, and our Twitter account for all the good stuff coming. And I look forward to talking to you guys real soon. So until then, enjoy yourselves. Hey, Teresa!
Oh my god.
Guess what time it is?
Are we naming this segment something else now?
Well, it's clearly getting out of the shower with Teresa. Again. Wow. That was like a hit. You realize people email me about that segment, you getting out of the shower. Explain your outfit tonight. Talk about it. It's like that Joan Rivers show. Like a fashion police. What are you wearing right now? What do you call this?
It's Field Crest Luxury, made in India.
And what kind of outfit would you describe that as?
A post-bathing outfit.
Like a towel?
Yes, a towel.
What feature of the towel is this?
That's the part that's tucked in, so that it won't come off.
Oh.
Nate Shivers.
What's going on? What were we just talking about before I started recording?
Oh my gosh. Okay. You keep changing your mind about the machine you want to buy next. And
No, not pinball related. Totally off topic. We're talking about something else.
We were?
We're talking about how great I am.
Oh, no, that's true. I took a quiz. One of those, BuzzFeed quizzes.
Like, what state are you?
Yeah, I love that one.
What state are you, by the way?
I am not the state I got. It's fake and stupid.
What state is it?
Georgia.
Shut up. Georgia. Do you know what state I got?
No, you took it?
Yeah.
What? Oh, no, I know. Idaho.
No.
Montana.
No.
Wyoming.
Wyoming.
I know it's one of those.
Wyoming. I'm not Wyoming.
Because we're going to have a milk cow.
I'm too fancy. I am too fancy for Wyoming.
And
do you see this? Look at this fanciness that is me right here.
Goats.
T-shirt and
when we
shorts.
retire, we're going to have all the little baby animals I always wanted.
Where? In Georgia or Wyoming?
In Wyoming.
Wyoming, you say. It's too cold in Wyoming.
Is it cold there?
Yes.
Did we drive through that one?
Yes. Remember there was nothing?
Yeah, it was really bad.
There's no pinball in Wyoming.
Well, you can open it.
Maybe my life's mission is to bring pinball to Wyoming.
Do you think that they want pinball?
Maybe they don't know if they want pinball.
You're going to let them figure it out?
No.
Well, the part of the conversation... Wait, this isn't where should I live later on in life? Oh, I did it to you! I did it to you!
This isn't Teresa jumping up and down.
Coast to Coast, Teresa.
so
How dare you? How
so
dare you try and turn this against me?
Because I was trying to talk about pinball and
You're
you
fired.
took it off topic. There's no higher fire. I am just here. You're stuck with me. Anyway, before we got off topic, you were telling me how there's a new... What's it called? When they
Code
give you new
update?
rules? A code update for X-Men?
X-Men.
And now you want to buy that.
I
Instead of Star
say
Trek.
I want to buy it. I don't actually want to buy any of them. I want them all to magically appear here now.
Well, I would like Judge Dredd to magically disappear.
You're not the only one in this room.
Although the lights look really pretty.
Don't they look good?
It's like all fancy.
I know. It
In
looks
the
really
little
good.
corner that's green and blue and purple.
It's like the better I make it look, the worse I play that game. I don't know why that is.
Because you're distracted by the pretty lights.
Oh. Is that why I don't play you so well? Because I'm distracted by the pretty lights?
You play me just fine.
You better believe it.
I don't want this lotion. You're distracting me. I put the wrong lotion in my hand. This is daytime lotion with sunblock.
This is not Coast to Coast lotion with Teresa.
I love you.
Anyway, everyone wanted to know where you were, so it was time that you came and told them. Where have you been? What are you doing?
Teaching, living, have Valentine's Day parties.
You had Valentine's Day parties without me?
Do you want to come and be with 6-year-olds on Valentine's Day?
Nope.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
But I made you a card.
Yes, it was a great card. It's a piece of art.
Yeah.
I'll put it on the show poster today.
Do it!
I'll put it on there.
Yay!
It'll be you and, I don't know, an X-Men picture and some other stuff. Done all, like, brooding and fancy and broken up with episode written across the top of it.
With some sort of weird tint to it.
Yeah, like I've never done that before.
We love doing that.
It is what it is.
I know. No, I like your posters that you do. But
Yeah.
I've been teaching and hanging out.
Anything else you'd like to add to the world?
I have the cutest dog on the planet.
Okay.
And, I like the new t-shirts.
Oh, you like the new t-shirts? The new dark gray ones that I told them that might be coming soon?
They are also dark and broody.
They're not supposed to know they're already here. Because I haven't counted to see what I got of them yet. I haven't taken photos of them yet. And people will start wanting to buy them already, and I'm not ready for that.
Why don't you go take a picture of one?
Because I'm not ready for another mail run. It's stressful. The post office is horrible.
I know.
Horrible place.
You should also post that little mini video of the
I
kid
can't
who wanted
post
the
a
toy.
video of the child. It's not my kid.
Nate likes it when children are mad because they're not getting their way. That makes him happy.
This kid in front of me in the post office was bawling, and I didn't even get the best part where he was trying to talk, but he was like, gulping, like, because there were stuffed animals in a display
It was
case.
a pug stuffed animal.
Yeah, and he wanted it, and the mom's like, I can't give you that. And he's like, "But I want that." And she's like, it's not for sale.
You know
I
what?
can't
Good
buy you
job,
that.
Mom.
Yeah, but the kid was already bawling and clearly had something wrong with him.
That's what children do, babe. They cry.
I don't want one of those.
Well, neither do I.
Oh, well then we're good.
That's
High
it.
five. You should put some clothes on.
I was going to, but I was interrupted with a little sound that precedes the recording.
All right, this show has gone on way too long. We gotta go.
All right.
All right, sign off, Teresa.
This is Coast to Coast Pinball. We'll see you next time. Is that good?
I don't know. Did you think it was good?
This is Coast to Coast Pinball.
Why
Keep
are
playing.
you looking at the ceiling
I'm
while you
thinking,
say that?
that's my thought face.
Your thought face?
People either look up or to the
Is
side or
that
down.
your T face?
What's that mean?
Your
Instead
thought
of
face. Instead of what?
You're
What are
being
you
dirty.
implying?
You always
What?
make things dirty.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway,
Anyway. All right, one more time. Sign off. For real this time. Get it right. Come on.
this is Nate and Teresa coming at you from San Diego, Coast to Coast Pinball. Have a great night, everybody.
You said coming at ya.
From San
It's like
Diego.
1992, Teresa. Coming
That's
at
when I
ya.
was in high
We're
school.
coming at ya.
Well, what do you say now?
I don't know. Why don't you talk about the episode dropping?
Oh, stop it. That's a legitimate term when an album is going to come out. You made fun of me one time when I said that, and that's what you're doing right now. Bye, everyone. Quit it. Say goodbye. Stop. I don't know what to do. Coast to Coast Pinball. Peace out. Please stop recording. I'm serious. I'm just gonna keep saying dumb stuff. Please. Hit the little button. That one?